Am I recording? I'm driving again. It's just easier for me to take the time out to video you guys when I'm driving. Hi guys! I promised you that I would be more diligent in keeping you updated, and it has been a bit. So I apologize. These last few months have been a little crazy. I don't remember exactly everything I talked to you about in my last video, so I will try to do a quick recap. So we had COVID back in January, and January is also when I started medical weight loss. And COVID for me was a little more mild. It did make me feel extremely fatigued, and it did not go into my lungs, which I am very grateful for because I have asthma and I just was not, I was really worried about that. But the biggest issue for me was my headaches. The headaches were just insanely excruciating and they lasted like a month. It was horrible. So that was the worst part for me, were the headaches. And during that time, I couldn't go to the gym, obviously. And I was in the middle of trying to lose weight through the medical weight loss, so it was just a little crazy, and all that jazz. Anyway, then we were slowly healing and getting all better. My husband actually, his lungs hit worse than mine, which is surprising because he typically does not, but it was worse for him in that department. And then the headaches were crazy for him too. Anyway, so it's just interesting how it affects different people. Then shortly after I got pregnant, and then shortly after we found out I was pregnant, I miscarried. So it was a fast pregnancy. Everything was finalized by 6 weeks. So it was super fast, and I was an emotional mess. It was just, it happened so fast. I got pregnant, didn't realize I even got pregnant. I was shocked because if you hadn't watched any of my other videos, my cycle kind of just stopped. And then once they found out that I had hyperinsulinemia and they started treating that, my cycle started up again. And so that was like, oh, awesome. Obviously the high insulin was keeping the, like my cycle all messed up. You know what I'm saying? So when they started treating my high insulin, like everything started balancing back out again. So I did get pregnant and I was extremely thrilled, over the moon thrilled. And then shortly after, I miscarried. So it was my 8th miscarriage. I have had 8 now. And my OB is actually wondering if COVID would have been the culprit for my miscarriage. So hopefully this isn't too TMI, but I'm gonna give you this information in case anybody else out there experienced something similar. But I have had 8 miscarriages, and so it has not been my first rodeo, and this one was just so odd. It was extremely clotty. I know that's gross. Sorry for those of you watching this that are like, I don't want to hear it, but I'll try to get through this really fast. I like couldn't believe how much clotting it was, and like I said, I was just barely pregnant, so it should not have been that intense, and it was just insanity. Like, I have never experienced anything like that, even during my regular cycles. Like, it was insanity. And so knowing this, my OB's thinking, you know, like with COVID, there's some clotting blood issues, and so she really thinks with how heavy and intense it was, that because we had just had COVID, that could be probably the reason why the baby stopped growing. And then as my body finally started releasing the baby, that it was just insane. So that was fun. so much. It was horrible. And so I had a few weeks of just sheer sadness and depression. I was heartbroken, to say the least. But I am in a much better place now. I feel a lot better about it. And it's just actually like I finally have this closure and this realization of, hey, look, I know that was a horrible experience and it was really saddening and I was like super depressed about it. But guess what? I got pregnant and my body's working. And I mean, I know, yes, it resulted negatively, you know, in the end, but I've realized, hey, look at the positive, look at the good. Like, my body is working. It was able to conceive, you know. Yes, there's a few kinks that we need to figure out for next time, but there is that comfort knowing that it can happen. So my OB just has me on blood thinners for always now. And also my progesterone was a little low, so she put me on a progesterone regimen to kind of help me out if we get pregnant again, or when we get pregnant again. It'll be a win. Anyway, so that is why I kind of was not popping up on here, because I wasn't ready to face it, but I'm in a much better place now. So with that being said, weight loss is still going really well. I did plateau while I was pregnant for a bit. I didn't gain and I didn't lose while I was pregnant, so my weight loss was kind of halted during that time. And I also stopped taking the phentermine when I found out I was pregnant, because you're not supposed to. They don't know exactly the reaction that it could have to a baby, so they just say don't take it. For those of you that don't know, phentermine is the drug they prescribed me to help my metabolism go faster, to help me lose this weight. So now that my insulin has been treated, they're helping my metabolism to rev up to help me lose this excess weight, and it's working. So I started in, I weighed 330 pounds starting in January when I started. And my last medical weight loss weigh-in, I weighed 309. So that was 21 pounds down, 308. So that was 22 pounds down from when I started this journey. Only in I think that was just 3 months. Super fast. And actually my weight loss doctor was like, okay, you can't lose weight this fast. I actually was thinking I wanted to lose 30 pounds in 3 months. That was my goal. And so I had lost 22 out of my goal. And she's like, it's too fast, because we want to make sure your body's not stressed. And when I take you off the phentermine, you're at a higher risk of gaining it back if you lost the weight too quickly. So at my last appointment, that was about 2 weeks ago, she said, in 1 month, I want you to lose about 4 pounds. That's it. And she saw the look on my face like, ah, because I was getting excited. Like, I'm feeling so much better. My clothes don't fit. I've had to go down a size, and I don't know, I feel a lot better. Like, I can get up and do things. I can get off the floor easier. Like, there's so many things that I just feel so much better. And so I was a little disappointed, like 4 pounds. And she's like, well, you have to remember that now that I'm back at the gym religiously, you're going to be gaining some muscle back and then losing some fat. And so about 4 pounds is about right, because you're going to be gaining muscle but losing about 4 pounds or more of fat. And so really that's kind of where I want you at. No more than 8 pounds. 8 pounds is really pushing it. So my initial goal was 10 pounds a month, and she's like, So yeah, it's just interesting that my body did lose that quickly, and I think it just was so ready. Once my insulin was put in a healthy place, everything just started working, and I am just so grateful and so blessed, and also a little bit scared. Let's just be honest. So I found out that I have a very unhealthy relationship with food, and it is from the years and years and years and years and years of dieting that I have gotten myself into this mentality where I am always just scared of what I eat. I'm scared most of the time. It's a lot of anxiety. I look at some food, it could be something healthy, and I'm looking at it thinking, how many calories does this have? How many carbs does it have? How many of this X, Y, and Z? Like, I am like so paranoid of what I'm putting in my body because of years of having crazy insulin issues. I would eat a banana and I would gain weight. And so I'm just like so scared of what I put in my body that it's actually creating like a very unhealthy relationship with food. A few weeks ago, I was talking to my doctor about this. I'm like, guess what? Like, instead of frying an egg and eating some avocado for breakfast, I was too tired and worn out. So I ate a bowl of Cheerios and a banana, and I was beating myself up for it because I'm like, that's too many carbs. I ate a banana. That's too much sugar. Like, I was beating myself up for it. And that's ridiculous. it's Honey Nut Cheerios and a banana. Like, come on, Jen, it's fine. That's not gonna like hurt you, you know? And so when I realized I was super upset about it and beating myself up for it, I was like, okay, I have some issues with food. I'm scared. Like, I look at it, instead of looking at it like, okay, is this gonna give me the nutrients I need for my body to have the energy and strength that it needs? No, I'm not looking at it like that. I'm thinking of, how many macros does it have? How many calories does it have? Is it too many carbs, too much sugar, whatever? Like, that's what's going on in my mind. And at this point in my life, it's not healthy. It's not. It's screwing with my mind, and I'm just all kinds of confused. And it gets to the point where I have so much anxiety about it that I just won't eat. And that's when it's not healthy at all. So I need to undo what's going on in my mind. I'm gonna call her my weight loss coach. It's easier to say. She suggested that I go see a food psychologist, which I might actually do. Because here's the thing. Majority of the time I eat extremely healthy, like very healthy, whole foods most of the time. But I get so worn down from the anxiety of it and from constantly thinking about all the calories, macros, protein, XYZ factors of food that I just get so burned out that I say, forget it, I don't care today, and I will binge. I will eat ice cream and cookies and baked goods and whatever, and I just fall off the horse and I go crazy because I feel so deprived and I'm so tired and I don't have enough healthy sugars or natural sugars in my body to have energy. Like, I'm just so worn down because I'm eating healthy that it's actually not healthy. Does that make sense? So these last 2 weeks, my weight loss coach, she said, hey, instead of thinking all those things, stop counting calories, stop looking at macros, because you know what's good for you. You already know that. I've already been through all of that. These things are really, really good for people who are learning the benefits of food. Those who have been eating like all these processed foods and sugars for years and years, and now they're just kind of learning, like retraining their minds of like what's good for their food, what's good for their bodies and what's not good for their bodies, right? So that's kind of like where those tools are there to help people in that position. I am not in that position anymore. And I've been stuck in that position for 10 plus years that it's really hard to change my brain and what it's thinking. So already, like, I don't want this to, this is getting really long, but this is really important. So when I'm saying stop counting calories, stop looking at macros, it's in my position. That might be perfect for where you're at in your journey, but for me right now, it is not where I should be, because I have already made those life changes in my diet where I do not eat processed sugars, mostly. Like, it's a holiday, it was Easter yesterday, I did eat candy, and it's okay. I'm not gonna beat myself up for it anymore. But I mean, like, on my daily living, like my normal daily living, I try really hard to stick with whole grains, whole foods, lots of vegetables. I personally lower my fruit intake, which is maybe not a good idea for you, but it is for me because I have fructose issues, so I focus more on berries. And then I do eat dairy. I eat cheese and nuts and cottage cheese. I love cottage cheese with avocado. It's one of my favorite snacks. Things like that. I do eat like wheat thins. On occasion, I will have graham crackers. On occasion, they are like my guilty pleasure snack from time to time with some milk. I love that. But I try really hard to eat more whole organically. I make a lot of food on my own. I make most of my food. So the Instapot's my friend. We also have an air fryer, things like that. So my journey might be in a different position as yours. So I've already made those life changes to try to cut out as many processed and refined sugars and foods as much as possible. So that's where I'm already at. So basically what my coach is saying, you already have your foundation. Your foundation is sturdy of the foods that you have found that you enjoy that are more whole and healthy. And so at this point, I am actually harming myself by not eating enough and having fear when it comes to food. And so she has encouraged me to just let that go and eat. If you're hungry, eat. If you're hungry, eat. And she's like, guess what? You've been on phentermine for 3 months. It has revved up your metabolism. I am waking up hungry where I never would wake up hungry. My metabolism was so slow, I wouldn't wake up hungry. I wouldn't feel hungry until about the afternoon. So waking up hungry is definitely a new feeling for me. And so she's like, eat. Your metabolism's higher now, eat. And she's like, I want you to try it and see if you're still losing weight. I want to prove to you that it's working. And so I have been trying it and I've lost 2 more pounds. So I'm like, cool. I'm eating, but I'm eating well. And also, ice cream is my biggest weakness, and I will binge ice cream. If I've been eating really well for like 6, 7, 8 days, I start feeling deprived, and then I just binge ice cream. Ice cream is my biggest weakness. And so she's like, you know what? I would rather you have small amounts more frequently than have these crazy binges. So I've been trying it. If I feel like I want ice cream, then heck, I will get myself a small bowl of ice cream and I feel satisfied. I don't feel deprived. I feel good. And then since I can tell myself, you can have some more tomorrow. It's okay. The small amount was sufficient. You can have some more tomorrow if you want. And just knowing that, there are days I'm like, I'm good, I don't need it, and it just feels so good. So I've been trying to retrain my brain on how to eat and to be okay with some things that I typically would not have been okay, and then I go crazy and binge them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just turned into like a really unhealthy relationship with food, and that's kind of what I'm working on this next month, is trying to change my thinking, be okay with eating more frequently if I feel like I need to, like my tummy feels hungry more often. It's almost 20-minute video. But I really want to just share this and this journey that I've been on in case anybody else has been experiencing this. And yes, I mean, it's not healthy to say I'm not calorie counting and then you're eating a whole bunch of junk. Like, that is not what I'm saying at all. So I just really want to emphasize that I have already created that foundation of foods that I have in my fridge and that I make you know, my meals that I typically make, they're all so like healthier items. We eat a lot of Asian type foods, Indian type foods, Thai foods, soups. Lots of those types of foods are basically my main bread and butter that I make for meals. I also love baking like chicken and vegetables, just baking them and seasoning them and herbing them, and it's just so good. So I just want you to know that there is that foundation, and so that's why my weight loss coach is like, your foundation is solid, so stop all that other crazy stuff that is there to teach people how to look at food differently and to make sure they're giving the right nutrients to their bodies. Does that make sense? That's the stage that I'm at. And I'm doing good. I've been a little hormonal after the miscarriage. It's been a little crazy. My mood has been up and down and all over the place, so I've been trying to work on that. Like today I woke up so grumpy, and I know it's just hormones, so I'm just trying to navigate through that and navigate through my relationship with food and going back to the gym, and it's been really fun for going back. I've missed it. I love going. I love doing water aerobics and being on the floor. So that's my update. If you made it all this way, good job. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.